One thing I forgot to add on my classroom tour, that stuff I just need to put away. This little mini blue binder that says Mentor Mentee program. This is my schedule. So my student schedule. So it tells you who goes to social skills, who has a para for writing, in the room and out of the room, who, what days, like A through E or whatever, B days. When the para is here for reading and math, who goes to speech and when they go, who goes to Mrs. Morehouse through our reading specialist and when. Mrs. League, we split our time with Mrs. Syntax, so she'll just pop in when she needs to do her intervention sheet. Mrs. Lingle, when she comes, and we split her with Mrs. Syntax as well. These are my math groups, so I just pull up for 10 minutes. Like I said, you can look through here for math stuff, or you can do the page in the book with the kiddos. That's completely up to you. But that's Monday, Wednesday times, and then Tuesday, Thursday times, and then Friday. You can just maybe pull up randomly if you want to. It's really hard to get these in some days because our math lessons have been taking a little bit longer, but that's okay. Inside here is logins and stuff to Prodigy, Extra Math, and all that fun stuff. High frequency word assessments. I've started just with 4 kiddos, so don't worry if you don't get to that. There's the 4 kiddos I've started with already. So actually, I think I've only done 1 kid. I have. But if Mrs. Syntax, like, they already have their names on them, so just make sure you're aware of that. But Mrs. Syntax, like, where's her high frequency word assessments? I just kind of leave it in this binder. So you don't have to get up and look because it's kind of far from there when you're doing rounds. I have my language arts rounds here. And then I have my math rounds here. So you can just call up kids based off of this. And then if they are at a round, they're at a round. If they're not at a round, that's okay if they miss something. My documentation, if you need to look at that, this is September notes, just kind of how I keep notes for guided math, or for guided reading, not guided reading, sorry, small group reading. Kids who are on IEPs, which reminds me, I have a little kiddo who I need to put his stuff in with this. We just had an IEP for him. So, I'll put that in here. When you get done with like running records, just put them back in that little folder. I have this little folder over here, or over here. Just set them back in there so that when I come back, I can kind of go through them and look at them. This is our intervention copies. So I think Mrs. League is on either task 2 or 3 so far. So she has until task 7, which will probably take her, until we get to Christmas. So there's nothing for Journey and Phonics. Math, I was keeping track of their assignments, but we do them together in class a lot of the time, so I didn't really need that. LJ, that's not all in here. If you need to know any of this information, this is from the diagnostic testing. That's in here as well. And then I have their September running records, their October running records, and then like I said, it's fine if you just leave them. If you just leave their running records in that, and I'll go through with my students, and I will go through and put them in ABC order and all that fun stuff, and then I'll have them in here just so I have documentation of that for myself. Who kids are on a reading support plan. Mrs. Morehouse has that information, and this is just extra information for me to know that they're on that. That pretty much means they either go to Mrs. Anderson or they go with Mrs. Morehouse. So you don't need to worry about that. But all that's kind of in there. I kind of leave this out, and then for the next day, I just throw it. If I have room, I throw it in there so I know what to pull out for the next day. But like I said, sometimes I just even leave it out on my desk so I have it for the next morning. Other than that, I think we're good. Sorry I had to add some more in there, but then that way you have all that information. I mean, like I said, it's all pretty. There's our ticket bucket. That's what we put our tickets in, and then the kids count that at the end of the day. We have been really, really bad at keeping track of that, but you guys will be fine. Yeah, so other than that, like I said, if you have any questions or even you want me to come in while I'm on maternity leave a day after school or something and kind of like help you figure out where more things are. If you need tape or more staples or anything like that, go ahead and just contact Mrs. Shute in the office. She'll go ahead and get you that stuff. I have hand sanitizer back there too, lotion, and then if the kids need chapstick too, there's a thing of Vaseline, and you can just use a Q-tip from our little thing over here. Wherever our Q-tips are, they might be in here. But you should be fine to go. So that's my room. This is like I said, this is my little area back here, so it's kind of a mess right now, but hopefully when you come, it'll be good to go. I usually have candy in this bucket too, so I will get some more of that and leave it for you for the kiddos. So thank you. And oh, one other thing. My chairs. They have to stay where they are. My kids do not get to move them. So as you can see at that table over there on this side closest to us, there's 2 balls and a crate seat. And then on the opposite side, there's 2 crate seats and a ball. All the cushions stay there. They do not get to use those at the rainbow rug. So if they tell you different, they are wrong. Those little gray tubs over there are learning boats. They can use those when they're working independently. I'm fine with that. They can use those as they see fit. So if they want to sit in those, that's fine. But if they tip in them or they flip in them or they're being silly in them, you can say, nope, we're putting them away, and that's where they'll go. This table has 1 ball, 1 crate seat, and 1 chair. The guided reading table has all wobble seats. Sometimes the kiddos have to bring up an extra seat. That's the only time something can move because I don't have enough seats up here for everybody. This table, which is actually wrong right now, has a regular chair, an exercise ball, a crate seat, and then on the opposite side, it has 2 exercise balls and a crate seat. That table has 3 regular chairs and a teacher chair. Yes, they can sit in this, but they need to be very careful. Those are my floor desks. And that's pretty much it. So, like I said, if you need anything, we haven't really used the reading buddies this year, which are the stuffed animals, and those are the headphones. But if they want to read with a reading buddy, I'm fine. But if it gets out of control, take them away. Not a big deal. So, all right. So that is my classroom.